I'm struggling to talk about this next book. Alright, we are back for another video. Sorry, I was just munching. But we're gonna go on a bookshelf tour. And we're gonna do a little book review, kind of doing a twofer, on books that I've already read. So we're going to look at the books I've already read and then make some reviews on them. So first and foremost, Legends and Lattes. This was a top read for me last year. This was a really good book called Legends and Lattes. And if you haven't heard about this book by Travis Baldree, I always pronounce his name wrong. This is a good book. It's really cozy. It's very D&D vibes. It's sapphic, queer romance. The romance is not the focus of the book. The focus is mainly on this character's, I forgot what was her name. It might be on the back. Vivian. Well, she goes by Viv. She was a barbarian orc. She would go into like games and stuff like that, and she got really sick of it. She didn't want that life anymore, and so she wanted to open up something in some town that she had never really heard about, and opened up a coffee shop. And she met some really cool people. There's some really cute characters in here. It is a must read, especially if you like cozy D&D vibes. It's a must read, so definitely give it a shot. Then, now this book, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on it. This is really well written, and I've read some poorly written books. Haunting Adeline. I'm a big dark romance person. I love reading dark romance. I just love reading that stuff. I love dark things. I like dark things by Natural. This book, I will have to say, you need to read the trigger warnings on this book. There's quite a bit. So you can go to H.G. Carlton's. I'm going to pause right here, that way you can see her name and spell it, for Haunting Adeline, because it's a really dark, heavy read. So just keep that in mind when you're reading this book. I guess I can give a little bit. So the main character, her great-grandmother passed away, and she's trying to figure out as to why she passed away. It's very relevant in this book, and it will let you know. She meets her. Some things happen in this book, and there's some really tough things that happen in this book. Z is his name. She meets Z, and Z is kind of a baddie. He does a lot of really good work, we'll just say, in not very conventional ways, but he's a good guy. Just not very, he doesn't really set himself out to be that good. But that's Haunting Adeline. If you have read this book, what are your thoughts about it? What are your opinions on it? I felt like this book was really well written, and it wasn't really meant to be like a fluffy bunny romance. You know, it was supposed to be dark. I think it did its job. I think it's a good book if you're wanting to read something really heavy and really dark, and you're into that type of stuff. I think it's a good read. But let me know what your opinions are and what your thoughts are on Haunting Adeline. Now, this next book. So this was a TikTok sensation book. Everybody was like, I gotta read this book. I gotta get my hands on this book, right? Her Soul to Take by Harley Laroux. Now, I love Harley Laroux. they recently came out with a new book called House of Rain, which is on my TBR, just not on my TBR for this year. I might end up reading it at some point this year because I really want to read it. I don't know why I didn't put that in my TBR video. Why did I not do that? I don't know. Now, this is about a college student who summons a demon and has to fight some dark aspects of the town. Like, the town is like very culty, and demons are like roaming around, so she has to like kind of, you know, her and this demon Leon have to go and fight these demons and fight this elder god that is somehow taking the county by storm, and like just doing some really messed up stuff, right? I love this book because this book, when you read it, is funny. It has some humor to it. It's very the smut could be better. I'll give my opinion on it. The smut could be better, but this is actually, it's a really good read. Like, if you take out the smut, it's a really good read, and I love it. It made me laugh a few times, especially if you read the audiobook to it. It's grade A comedic gold. I love it. Oh, I know. This was a book that was given to me. I didn't buy this book. This was a gift, called Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This is a Black author, and this book was decent. It's not a 5-star. I'd probably give it like a 4, maybe 4.5. This was, honestly, this is a really good read. Actually, no, I give it like a 4.5. I wouldn't give it a 5-star read. I feel like there were some like plot holes in it, but other than that, this was a really good read. I recommend it if you're into like not arranged marriage, but like getting drunk in Las Vegas and getting married. Like, I think this would be a really good read, especially if you're a bachelorette and you're like wanting to do like a book read, or like you want to read to get into like the vibes of like getting married and married life. This is a really good read. Oh, I forgot to do ratings for the other books. Why did I guess I just love this book so much I needed to get a rating. Legends and Lattes would be a 5-star read. Haunting Adeline, I give it 4-star read. Her Soul to Take, I would give 4.5, and this one I would give a 4.5. This is a really good read, though. I like this book. Next is Getting It On with Gargoyles. Now, I was in a really, like I said, I love a good monster romance. This was good if you would have taken the smut out of it. The smut was really, like, kind of just awkward and just kind of forced in the book. But for storytelling, if you would have just taken the smut out and just had it straight up storytelling about, like, the fantasy town that it's in, Ever After, it would have been a really good book. This would have gotten, I'm giving this like 3.5. Like, it had potential. It didn't really execute it very well, but I would give it a 3.5 because the storytelling was really well. I feel like it was mainly, like, you just have a lot of questions about the FMC, and they're not really answered in this. Like, you find out that I'm not even going to spoil it, but you find out that they're special in a way, but there's no like deeper dive into why that is. They just kind of, it just is what it is, and they throw it out there, and then it's not really confirmed as to why. Like, do they have family history? Does it run on their family? I don't know. There was just more questions than answers in this book, and the smut wasn't really very well. And this is the thing. I'm all for like a book that's like, this is a good fantasy book, right? And like, the smut's not really well done, but it's a good fantasy book. This book was promoted for the fact that it was a smutty book, and it didn't deliver at all, at least in my opinion. But it's a cute book, I guess, if you like a read that's like kind of cozy but still kind of spicy. This is a good read. And I give it like a 3.5. 3, maybe 3.5. 3.5 on a good day. Okay. The Vampire Jack Townsend. This book was really overhyped, and it didn't deliver. I'm gonna be very honest. There's some queer romance, queer smut in this that really wasn't well written. But like the story itself, it had a direction. It had a direction. I think if you would have taken out the smut and maybe like revamped the fighting sequence a little bit, there's a lot of format errors in this book, a lot of grammar issues. So I would give this book a 3. Actually, no, I can't give it a 3. Like a 2. 2 for effort. It has a point, but there's so many errors and so many format errors, and if the author got this book and like what do you call it? And fully edited this book and republished it, I would totally buy it and totally read it, because it has, you can see that there's a direction in it. It just wasn't well executed. But I will say, I'm a sucker for poetry. I love poetry. And they have some decent, same author, Jack Townsend. They have some good, like, gothic poetry. And I don't really think poetry ever should have, like, a quality, like a standard, because poetry is very subjective. It's really based on the experience of the author and like what they've, had happen in their life and who they are as a person and their creative expression. I really don't ever give poetry like, oh, it was a 5-star or it was a 1-star. Like, poetry's poetry. Poetry is of people's experiences, of their life experience, and you really can't put a rating on that. Novels are somewhat in the same way, but they are meant to be rated. They're meant to be judged on, reviewed on. Like, that's the whole point of it. Poetry is a little bit different because it's written differently. Like, there's no plot, there's no character development, there's nothing that really you can rate it on. Maybe people might disagree with me with that, but that's just my personal opinion. So I really don't rate poetry books. But all in all, those are all the books that I have read. And these are just random books for like different times. Like, I have some nonfiction book in here, but mainly I want to focus on fiction. Because that's what I mainly read, what takes up the majority of my time. But there you have it. There's my book reviews / a bookshelf tour. Let me get rid of that. Oh, that's just my sock collection. But anyways, but yeah, so that is, we're just gonna leave it, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, that is my bookshelf tour, also reviews. So if you would please give this a like, subscribe, comment, let me know what books you've read, were any of these books higher ratings that you've read, Do you kind of agree with my rating and reviews of these books? Just let me know and put it in the comments below. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you on the next one, and don't forget to sink your fangs into some pages. And I'll see you on the next one.